Alright, what's up guys? I'm back, and today I'm actually going to be doing another review bundle. I did one of these like a year and a half ago maybe, and I kind of like how it turned out. So I'm going to try it again now, since we're all sort of in this self-isolation, quarantine, social distance situation, whatever you want to call it. But obviously this video is not about that, so let's just kind of try to forget about all that for a little bit and talk about some movies instead, of which I have watched a lot. So today I think I'm only going to be talking about 5 films and one show, which is obviously Tiger King. Also, here's everything I'm going to be talking about with time codes. So if you were just looking for one in particular, just skip to that one, and yeah. Bombshell was directed by Jay Roach and has a star-studded cast including but not limited to Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie, and John Lithgow. The 3 leading ladies take on Fox News head Roger Ailes and the toxic atmosphere he created and presided over at the network. Now, like I said before, the cast is amazing, and I think some of their performances were one of the few good things about the film. Definitely, some people were a little better than others, but overall, the film seemed pretty messy to me. I'm not entirely sure it knew what it wanted to be 100% of the time, with a majority of the film being shot sort of documentary style, so mostly handheld, some zooms here and there that seem sort of, I don't know, they seemed out of place to me and a little goofy sometimes, but I could kind of tell what they were going for. But some of the writing choices and direction didn't make too much sense to me. There's a scene in the beginning where Charlize Theron is sort of talking to the camera, walking through the offices, sort of narrating everything, and that never happened again. So it felt really out of place, especially by the time you get to the end of the movie. You think it's going to circle back around, but it doesn't. There are also some other editing choices in there that were just weird for me. There's one point when 2 characters are in a bathroom, and one of them is talking about how popular Fox News is, or has always been, and back in the day, you know, people would turn off their TVs and you'd still see the Fox logo in the bottom left corner, sort of sizzling out or whatever. And they actually put the Fox logo there and had it sort of like fade to gray and sit there in the middle of this scene when they're having this, you know, important-ish dialogue. And it really took me out of the moment, and I didn't know why they had to put the visual cue there. I think all of us, or at least the audience who's going to watch a show about Fox News, I think that demographic understood what she was saying. I didn't think they had to put that there. I don't know. It's just stuff like that. And it was okay, but overall, it's not my favorite out of what I watched. I definitely don't think I'm gonna rewatch it anytime soon, but there are definitely parts of it that were good. There's definitely saving grace to it. I definitely think it's worth at least one watch if, like I said, you're interested in the story, the cast, or even just have a very, you know, minor or major disdain for Fox News. Next one I watched was Honey Boy, and that was directed by Alma Harrell, and it was written by Shia LaBeouf. This autobiographical film explores Shia's rough childhood and early adult years as he struggles to reconcile with his father and deal with his own mental health. I thought Honey Boy was an extremely powerful film filled with incredible performances from all 3 Shias. We have Noah Jupe, who some of you know from A Quiet Place, playing the youngest version of Shia, or the youngest version of Otis is his name in the movie. Then you have Lucas Hedges, who I think, like, nails Shia LaBeouf. And obviously, the most intense performance was by Shia himself, who plays his own abusive father. There are definitely plenty of scenes that I won't forget about anytime soon, and I want to just say again that all these performances really, really elevated a super incredible script. I enjoyed about every second of this movie, and I actually don't want to talk too much about it because I think it's better if you go in knowing just sort of the knowledge that you have now of Shia himself, if you used to watch Even Stevens, if you've seen the Transformers movies, or if you sort of know about a couple things here and there, I think that's the best way to go into it. Just know it's a really powerful film, and it's actually available right now on Amazon Prime for free. The Peanut Butter Falcon was directed by Tyler Nilson and Michael Schwartz. This adventure begins when Zach, a young man with Down syndrome, runs away from the nursing home where he lives to chase his dream of becoming a professional wrestler. And just like Honey Boy, I'm probably going to keep the rest of these biggest plot points to myself, because this is one that I actually had no knowledge about going into. I knew it had Shia LaBeouf. I knew a lot of people were talking about it, and I saw that both of them present at the Oscars. And so I was definitely interested in it. I wanted to know what it was. I wanted to see if it held up to some of the high praise that I'd heard, and I was floored. This is another film that I think you should know as little as possible before going in, and it is one of the most endearing films and heartwarming films that I've seen in a really long time. It's going to make you laugh. It's going to make you cry. It definitely made me laugh and cry on numerous occasions. There are some powerful performances here, obviously by Shia and Zach himself, who is extremely talented. I really enjoyed the script, and after first watch, I don't really have that many problems with it. I think it's very well done, and it is a great movie to watch, even with your family. But anyways, it is a phenomenal film. I feel like I've said that so many times, but I really, really do love this film. I'm very glad I own it, and I can't wait to rewatch this one. I'm actually going to stick this one in the middle, but I'll make it quick. Tiger King is one of the most wild documentaries I've ever seen in my entire life. Nothing has ever prepared me for anything like that, ever. Each episode, you just think, how can this get worse, or how can this get weirder, and it tips those scales every single time. I watched this in one sitting, in one night, because I just couldn't wrap my brain around some of the stuff that I was seeing, or some of the things that these people were saying. So if you haven't seen it yet, I really, really recommend it. It's just a roller coaster, and I don't know if I have any critiques on it yet, because there was no way that I could kind of multitask and focus on, critiquing it and paying attention to flaws, and also trying to just follow everything that was happening. Like, that took top priority in my head, and you will understand if you have seen it or when you do watch it. And this is just a series that makes you think to yourself, I had no idea that people like this could even exist on this earth. Climax was written and directed by Gaspar Noé, which I don't know why I said it like that, and I also might have mispronounced it. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But also, written is kind of a loose term, considering I read somewhere he only had a one-page outline for this nearly 100-minute party-turned-nightmare. Loosely based on an actual event that occurred in the winter of 1996, a group of dancers in France were having a party to celebrate their last day of their retreat in a closed-down boarding school, which they used to rehearse a routine that they were going to perform. As the night goes on, the atmosphere becomes saturated in paranoia for some and ecstasy for others, as they slowly realize the sangria has been spiked by an unknown person for an unknown reason. This movie impressed the hell out of me for several reasons. Now, one of them was obviously after the fact, when I did some research and realized that there was only a one-page outline, so pretty much all the dialogue was improvised, which is so impressive for all of these actors, who some of them, I don't know if they are all first-timers. I know a couple of them aren't, obviously, but there are some people who I've never seen before, and they are very, very talented. And to pull something like this off, just the dialogue alone was like crazy to me, because it felt real. It feels genuine. But I know screenwriters who are able to do that, and I know actors who are able to pull that off and not make it seem like it's scripted. And obviously this one didn't seem scripted, but I didn't know it literally was not scripted. So that was crazy. And also the cinematography was just enchanting. You get a lot of beautifully bizarre camera movements, especially near the end of the film, that kind of makes you feel like you're there. Makes you feel like you maybe drank some of that sangria as well. And one more thing I loved about this movie was something that I praise a lot, something that I talk about a lot. I love long shots. Longer shots are so great, and when, you know, stuff like action movies or whatever is all like chopped up, it's, ooh, one of my pet peeves. But there were plenty of long shots here, and there were even some that I am suspecting were stitched together with some hidden cuts, which are fine too, because I think, you know, I would rather have something, you know, have a hidden cut in it and make it seem like one long shot than just like here, then here, then here, then here, then here, because I just, bleh. I don't like it. But that's not the point, because this film didn't have that. I love the way that it was edited. I love the way that it was shot. I love the performances. I love the music. The music is wild. And this is definitely a film I'm going to rewatch again several times. And the final movie I'm going to talk about today is The Death of Dick Long, which is directed by Daniel Scheinert, who also plays Dick Long. A wild night results in Dick dying, and his two buddies don't want anyone finding out how. Unfortunately, news travels fast in their small town. And also, unfortunately, I found this film to be pretty underwhelming, which I was kind of disappointed, because I had heard some good things here and there, and I was sort of excited to see it. I really like dark comedies, but this one just didn't really do it for me. The opening was definitely engaging, something that sort of hooks you and you're like, okay, I do want to see where this goes. Now, some of the build-up to the reveal was pretty interesting, but after we find out what happened to Dick, because we do find out about the halfway point, the film kind of just drags for me, which I know, you know, humor is subjective and all that, but I just really wasn't into it as much as I thought I would be, and I didn't think that the way that the rest of the film panned out was, I guess, as interesting as I'd hoped, which I don't like saying things that sound that negative, or things that sound like, you know, like I'm the only one that movies are made for, because I'm not. I think, you know, some people might love this movie. I know people that did love this movie. I look at reviews and all that stuff too, but I just don't think it was for me. It wasn't great. I do think the performances were really great, though. I do applaud them for that. And I do think the cinematography, for the most part, was decent, but it was just the rest of the film, mostly in the writing, that sort of fell flat for me, unfortunately. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you've seen any of these movies and what you think about them, or if you are going to watch any of these movies. Let me know. I'd love to talk to you guys in the comments, see what you all think about them. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It means a lot. And if you want more videos about movies and stuff, you know, subscribe. Hit that bell. It's free. And if you like movies, I mean, that's pretty much all I talk about. So, thanks again for sticking around, guys. And I'll see you in the next one.